Welcome to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. The last 24 hours on cable news have been a train wreck. MSNBC and CNN refuse to come to terms with reality about why a shooter took the life of conservative influencer Charlie Kirk at a TPUSA event at Utah State. They continue to spin and warp the coverage to fit a narrative that MAGA or conservatives are somehow to blame for what happened to Charlie Kirk. And one of the offenders in this case at MSNBC has just been fired. And we're going to bring you that news, but please like, share, and comment at Explain America. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Well, MSNBC, we have a tendency at Explain America and other conservative outlets to underestimate how toxic it is. Because, frankly, their ratings are in the toilet. But I don't think MSNBC exists to get ratings. It gets out there to trigger the extreme left, to put them in a bubble, to shield them from reality, to protect them from alternative views, and to dehumanize voices who might otherwise reach them. I think that is the purpose of MSNBC. Its parent company, at least up to this point, it's not yet MS now, they attempt to be reasonable, but MSNBC doesn't even attempt that. And one of the voices at MSNBC has just been fired. His name is Matthew Dowd. He came on a segment after Charlie Kirk's murder and made heinous remarks essentially blaming Charlie Kirk for his own death. Watch this.
But following up what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions.
Now, MSNBC put out a statement confirming that Matthew Dowd is no longer with the outlet. However, I want to share my reaction to this. Matthew Dowd is not a leading radical left voice at MSNBC. He's an old Bushite. He's on there to be a contrarian anti-Trumper. That is his role there. So he was an easy target for the MSNBC front office there to just ship him out. But the executives there at MSNBC, they seem to ignore that Katie Tur made some unbelievable remarks, not only allowing a segment where Kirk was called divisive, polarizing, a lightning rod in her segment.
Yeah, we're showing, by the way, our affiliate in Utah and the aftermath of the shooting. You could see people running away pretty quickly, as you would imagine they would do at gunshots. The FBI director, Kash Patel, has weighed in on this. He just tweeted the following: "We're closely monitoring reports of the tragic shooting involving Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. Our thoughts are with Charlie, his loved ones, and everyone affected. Agents will be on the scene quickly, and the FBI stands in full support of the ongoing response and the investigation." Charlie Kirk is a divisive figure, polarizing, lightning rod, whatever term you want to use. Why?
Well, he's one of MAGA's most prominent voices online. He hosts a near daily podcast. He opines on almost everything. He's been very closely aligned with the president since his initial run for office in 2015, 2016. And his ties to Trump really elevated his own brand. He was really quite young as an activist when the president launched his initial campaign. And he has kind of ridden along with MAGA since 2016 and built up a massive, massive brand of his own. His group has brought in tons and tons of money.
He also misreported and speculated on air. She basically said that this could be a right-winger that fired his gun off in celebration. This is completely reckless and unacceptable speculation. I believe there's allowance for rational speculation or inference in breaking news segments at the margins, but I think that the responsible thing to do is to not demonize people wrongfully and misleadingly in your segments. And that's what Katie Tur's segment effectively did. And I think it is not journalism. It is political activism, and it is not even responsible activism at that. So MSNBC is not the only network that has really lit a fire out there and apparently wants to see more violence. I mean, I don't know what other conclusion there is to draw with their hyperbole and their reckless reporting. They must want to see more of what happened in the case of Charlie Kirk. I don't know how other way to interpret this, because what we just saw at CNN, well, Aaron Burnett went on air and made a segment about Charlie Kirk about MAGA voices issuing a chilling threat.
Out front next, the breaking news, a frantic manhunt for Charlie Kirk's killer, nearly 30 hours on the run. How did the shooter make a getaway? There are new clues tonight, big developments in the manhunt as we understand it at this moment. And an eyewitness who asked Kirk a question moments before he was shot and killed joins us. What he saw and heard in those seconds leading up to the murder. And warning, it's about to get a lot worse in this country. That is a chilling threat from some of MAGA's youngest and most passionate members tonight. Let's go out front. And good evening, I'm Erin Burnett. Out front tonight, the breaking news, a massive manhunt for the killer who assassinated Trump ally Charlie.
I'm as dialed into conservative social media as almost anyone, and I see almost everything. And I could say, like, in terms of everything that I've seen, I've not seen anyone issue like honest threats. I've only seen certain things like, enough is enough, etc., but not like any calls for violence, not anything specific. That is not the case with the dozens of leftists that I compiled on a somewhat viral thread on X, just over and over and over again. Just people on TikTok, Blue Sky, other social media outlets, just celebrating Charlie Kirk's death. But I want to leave you on a good note, because there's been enough hard news for us to take here at Explain America, and I'm sure you feel the same way. But I want you to listen to Stephen A. Smith. As someone, I'm a big Knicks fan, so I have a little bit of a beef with Stephen A. Smith because some of his comments are a little bit questionable about the Knicks, and he claims to be a big fan, but, I'll give it to him.
I'm a black man born in America. I know what problems that exist in this country, but I also know there's far more good people than there are bad people in this country, regardless of who you are, what your ethnic background is. White, black, Hispanic, and beyond. I'm in a studio here in Las Vegas, and I'm looking outside, and I see people looking at me and smiling and saying, "What's up, Stephen?" They don't look anything like me. And I don't care, because they're showing me love, and I'm showing love right back to them. At some point in time, we got to recognize, can't just speak about it. Can't just give lip service to when such a vile act takes place. And we're going to give lip service to the tragedy of the moment, and then within 24 hours, we move on with our lives like nothing happened. Something did happen. Don't care what his political beliefs were. I don't care what he felt. I care about the fact that a man was gunned down in front of two of his children who are 5 years of age or less. That he's dead at the age of 31. That his wife is a widow. That his children are fatherless. Because his ideas and his beliefs differed from somebody else, apparently. And then I'm going online and I'm seeing people celebrating it. Shame. Shame on you.
That's the kind of thing I want to see on MSNBC and CNN. You stop making excuses. Stop hiding the facts and the information. I'm not saying amplify hateful voices, but you can run some voiceover material and condemn it, and do it that way. But you should acknowledge it, because that will help the radical left take ownership. And more generally, it will help Democrats, like good, common sense, hardworking Democrats, those that are out there. I'm giving you credit to call out these radical leftists and differentiate yourself from them. Provide some distance, because it's really going to hurt your party. And them hiding this information is not going to help the Democratic Party. It's if you have any beliefs, for example, just about like if you're a union member or for whatever reason, you just feel like you have to vote Democrat for whatever reason. That's one thing. There are cases where it just runs in the family and people just do it for whatever reason. But these people should not be speaking for you, because that's what it looks like when there are dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens on there, and there aren't Democrats calling them out enough. So please provide your voices below. We welcome you, Explain America, to say, hey, I don't agree with you, Explain America, but these these radical activists don't speak for me, right? So feel free to do that. We would appreciate it. And be good. Do the right thing. Show respect for your fellow human beings, even if you don't agree with them. And I appreciate what Stephen A. Smith had to say, and I appreciate what you have to say, because all of it adds up in the final equation. And we need to really look to do good in this world and to heal and to remember Charlie and keep his family in our prayers, and make the country a better place. So thank you for watching Explain America. We appreciate it.